Okay, now we've got everything turned on. We're going to look at the actual, how the board is actually set up. You run with your sliders right here. And this is, I mean, just very similar to anybody that's used to running an analog board. I mean, this is the first digital board for this church. This is the first digital board that I've ever run. So it's kind of there's a little bit of a switch in the way some of the things are routed and how you get to and apply functions on this board. This one is not different. I mean, this is universal across the board. You got your sliders here, going to control your volume. You have 0 unity across here. We try to run everything as close to unity as possible. With the sliders. You're going to run from channel 1 to channel 32, and then this is your mains right here. Up and down is going to affect the levels that you hear in the house. The next level you have right here, this is our, well, we have our stickers right here that is showing, we just have written in marker of what each level is. We have our drums right here that are in these lines right here. We have overhead cymbals, hi-hats. We just have everything labeled as to what it is. We have our keyboards, bass, electric, just so that you know what you're working with as you're moving up and down on the slider. Your next level here, a lot of analog boards. This is something that's back and forth between both of them. A lot of analog boards, all the ones that I grew up using, were a push-to-mute system, that your channel was on. And everything was ready to go. And if you needed to mute it, you hit the button, and that would be muting. This is not a push-to-mute system. This is a push-to-on system. If the light is off, it is not on. It is off. And so what you need to do is, right now, you will not have any sound. I'm going to show you right here. We have our iPod hooked up through our iPod channel over here, which is channel 28. I'm going to hit play on this. I can push the slider up. I can see I'm getting a signal. It is not on. What I have to do, I have to run right there. This is your on and off. Red light on means that the channel is on. That is one of the first things you want to check when you're not getting through stuff. I mean, you just have to make sure that your channel is on. The next level here is going to be an actual, it's a gauge just showing you the actual signal coming through that channel. A lot of times you'll have this on, but you'll have a guitarist that's trying to play and they can't get anything through the mains, and you look at it, you want to check this right here because this tells you that you actually have a signal coming to your board. If you don't have any action in this level right here, then what that means is that you're not getting the signal to the board. And so that is one of the things you want to check. This is going to show you, this is a gauge showing you the amount of signal coming through. Your gain is going to change that. I can turn this and boost my gain, which boosts that signal. And it's not going to do that on this one. But like when you get vocals or when you get instruments or whatever, it will go up and it will peg. And you'll start to clip out and you'll get to the red. You want to make sure that you run your signal lower so that you don't clip out. Then you're going to have, so we have our sliders, we have our push to on layer so that you can get it actually in the system. You have your gauges here to show you that you have a signal coming through and how strong that signal is. Your next layer is going to be the Q level. What the Q is, we have it set up on this so that the Q is what it is going to do is you're going to select that, and anything that you cue, it's going to come up right here. So this right here is just a larger version of this one. And it's just showing you a larger, it's just showing you exactly a closer in depth of where your levels are going. Again, if you'd be clipping out, you'd be all the way up to the top. And what that gives you an option to do is anything that you have cued, you can run through your volume knob right here through your headphones. It's going to come into this and then run into the headphones. So when you have a large group of people up there and you need to mix, say you need to mix all your background vocals, but you have your entire band up there, you can cue your different, wherever, say you have your backgrounds, you have lead vocal, you have background 1, and you have background 2 are singing. You can cue the 3 of those, and then that will send those 3 signals into your headphones here, and so you will only hear those in your headphones. You won't hear the guitar, you won't hear the drums, you won't hear anything else, you'll just hear what you have cued. And then you have a volume level on that, so that you can hear, I can turn this off right here, and you can hear that as I turn this up, I'm actually getting a sound out of my headphones, and it controls the volume on that. So you can sit there and listen. It's a good habit to get into, that whenever, if you do use these and you listen to something, always turn it down, because when they're hanging here and you forget about it, it will affect what you're hearing and the levels of sound that you're getting, because you'll be getting a little bit of sound out of that. It's just a good habit to get into, getting that off. You see this right here, it says cue clear, and the light is blinking. Whenever you have anything cued, this light will be blinking. You can go and you can select, hit the button again, and it'll take that out of the queue, and so you just still have these things queued. Say if you have a whole bunch of stuff queued and you want to just completely knock everything off at once, hit the cue clear button, and now everything has gone out of the queue. The next level that you have is your select level, and it's going to run up here. You can select one at a time. You cannot select multiple on this, and what this is going to do is everything that you have on an analog board, all of your dials and knobs that you have above, usually above your mute line. You're going to have your mute on most analog boards. You have your mute and right above your slider, and then you have a list, a series of dials going up. You're going to have your low, mid, highs, whatever amount of EQs you have. You're going to have your effects. You're going to have all of your different dials, your ability to put stuff into monitors and, you know, different monitor levels or whatever. You have everything up above in knobs. What this is going to do is this right here, this screen right here, becomes each channel's set of knobs. So you don't have all of the sets of knobs for channel 4. You don't have anything up above channel 4 to select it. What you do is you select channel 4, and then you have everything right here. You have all of your different submixes. You have all of your different submixes right here. You have 16 different submixes. This right here is your ability to input it, like we already have the overhead symbols, which is channel 4, is going to show you right here, is already inserted into submix 1. This right here is your ability to insert or take out this channel into any of your submixes. Of the other things that you're going to run in here, this white one right here is your gain, is your overall gain. I'm going to move back over to 28 just so that we can see what we're doing, and we can actually do it with a little audio behind us. Select your channel 28. I'm moving the slider up so that we have music. And then we have right here, this is our gain. I can turn my gain down, and it lowers the signal. Turn my gain up, and it makes it louder. We try to run our gain when you get too much gain, you get too little gain, it's going to affect the sound. You want to run your gain so that you're running a good level on your slider.
Can you show the knob again that you're using?
You have two ways to affect gain. You can select it. You like your cursor here. You go and you select. You just highlight your gain knob here, and then you can use your big slider here, and see it's going to change it. Or at any time, whatever you're doing, you can select that channel, and then say your cursor's all the way down here. You can use this white button up here that says HA gain. And at any point you can select the channel and you can go and you can automatically, and see it move the cursor from down here to all the way up here, and you're automatically changing with this gain. You have pan here. We don't really have a true stereo sound set up, and so we don't pan anything left to right. I mean, it's all more similar to a mono system, but you could run pan left or right. I mean, that's right here. You can highlight it or do this. Here's your EQ channel. We're not going to get into setting up EQs, but you come in here and then you have this. You have the option. You can go and select any of these individual ones and turn it to move your EQ up and down or change how it's set up. Or you can select here and move it with that system. So when it comes to changing the stuff in here, you have multiple options on how you want to change it. I mean, you set in your EQ, you have your gain right here, you have the pan. You have dynamic 1 and dynamic 2. Here's your thresholds for those. Is the one button that you have to change those. You can change the rest of this stuff by highlighting it. This is your option. Dynamic 1, this is your option to put in a compressor, to put in a gate, to put in any sort of effect that you want to put in on this individual channel. a lot of analog boards, you will have a certain number. You'll say you'll have 2 or 3 or 1, whatever levels that you can put on, and you can put, and you can only have 2 running at the same time, but you can put individual channels in or out if you want. On this, you have 2 that you can put on, 2 separate ones. You can have a different gate, compressor, different setup on every single channel. So you have the option to come in and actually do that individually. Other than that, the only other option, the only other thing here that you're really going to need to know what it is right here where it says direct, and there's a little arrow down, and then right there you see that it's turned on. What that is we have our Aviom system is set up in a slot that runs off the back of this board. This right here has to be turned on for the signal to be sent to the Avioms. Right now I have this turned on. If I had that turned off, what that would mean is that people that were up on stage listening to their in-ears on the Aviom system, this direct signal out is turned off, and so it would not send that signal to their Avioms. If you have a guitar that is turned off in the Avioms, even it could be coming through the entire system, but if that button right there is turned off, then it will not go into the Avioms. So that is another thing on this level that you have to make sure is turned on. But I mean, that's your basics for, you have your sliders, your push to on, so that you have to push it for it to be on. You have your cue, your select, and that's just a basic overview of when you select of the different options you have to actually change stuff on your system here. The only other major thing that we run on Sunday mornings is your user-defined keys over here. On number 1, there's an M on it. What it is that is a mute layer. We have everything that is on the stage is in this first mute layer. We only have 1 mute layer set up. I hit that button, and what that does is I'm going to go and turn these on, and you see that they're blinking. Everything from 21 down is blinking. What that means is that it's muted. So before service, when there's nobody up there and we're just playing music, we have those muted. We turn them off, and then they are a solid constant red. That means that they are on, and that's what we do while the worship team is playing. Once they are done and they start to set their instruments down, you want to make sure that you hit that again, and that mutes it so that you don't hear bumping around and unplugging and everything as the worship team is moving down. Everything from pastor's mics, and then the computer on the other side, and then the iPod line here are all none of them are on the mute layer, so that you can run, the pastors can speak through the wireless mics, we can run music, we can do all that and still have the band going down. You can see which ones are on the mute layer by simply selecting the channel. This is our lead vocal right here on channel 18. I selected it so that you're on 18 with the lead vocal, and you look down here, and right next to where that direct was on to get the signal sent to the Aviom, you have your mute layer, and you have 8 different mute layers that you can set up. We only have 1 set up. Is this one right here. It'll be red, and that will show that this channel is in the mute layer. I'll show you right here. This is the handheld microphone on channel 23. Is not in a mute layer. The iPod is not. The computer is not. None of these are in the mute layer. These vocals down here are in the mute layer. You can select that, and you see that that red light goes off, and then you look at this channel 15 right here. See how that's not blinking anymore? You have effectively taken that out of the mute layer. So we're going to put it back in. All of our stuff on stage stays in the mute layer. All the stuff, all the pastors' mics and the computers and the music systems are out of that mute layer. You affect that by user-defined key number 1 is how you turn that off and on. The other 2 user-defined keys that we use right now are just number 2 is to record. When you hit record, it sends it to this USB drive that's coming off of this port right here. Everything records in MP3 format, and that record, you hit record, it'll say access, and then it says record right here, and it is now recording on this. You hit stop, user-defined key number 4, you hit stop, and then it'll stop. That is, the recorder is stopped. When it's recording, I just hit the record again. When it's recording right here, you can look at this recorder button right here, the 3rd one down on this side. This is going to be your recorder level. If you're just recording worship, you turn this attenuation down. It goes up to 24. If you have it on 24, you're going to peg out and just have a too strong of a signal. We usually run about 14 to 15 on that when you're recording worship. When you're recording a sermon, you want to make sure that you're all the way up to 24, because just one person talking, you want to make sure that you're getting as much power to that as possible. And so that is your recorder level. And then this is just, you can flip through these other tabs, and it just shows you what's on the recorder, and then you can play it from here and there. That's your sliders, your options, your your setup on your screen, and then your user-defined keys. Of all of this, just like the cue clear right here, the most important button that you'll use on this, the button you'll use the most on this, is the home. When you need to go and look at a scene memory, you come up here. If you need to look at the setup and get onto your administrator level, you go here. You want to change the recorder, whatever you're doing and all the different things, you're going to be right here. With one push of the button, you're right back to the main page, ready to go and ready to work. So if you want to check and make sure what scene memory you're on, you're right here. But then you need to go back to mixing or change the EQ or change the gain or whatever you need to change. Hit that home button and it takes you back automatically. Anything that you're in, any level that you go to, hit the home button and it takes you right back to where you're ready to start mixing.